Ashes, Alastair Cook and Stuart Broad shine as England impress against Australia. With the urn already safely secured by Australia in Perth, the return to form of two of England's biggest guns, Cook with an unbeaten century, 104, and Broad with 4 wickets, was welcome if a fortnight too late. Yet their efforts ensured England go into day 3 here in Melbourne in a strong position on 192-2. Trailing Australia's first innings total of 327 by 135 runs. Both men had plenty to prove, with vultures circling over their test careers and some pundits beginning calling for their heads. In a session and a half, Broad took 3 wickets as Australia's tail crumbled from 263 to 327 all out, the fast bowler eventually finishing with figures of 451. Jimmy Anderson also weighed in with 361 as Australia fell some way short of what was promised in the morning. There was also a first Test wicket for Tom Curran, making up for his disappointment in losing his maiden Test wicket of David Warner to a no-ball on day 1, getting Aussie skipper Steve Smith to play onto his stumps. Broad has struggled on this tour, and his efforts at the Wacker, where he went wicketless with 0-142, were the worst figures of his career. But yesterday he found greater pace and a touch of reverse swing to reboot stuttering form. Cook, too, looked in better nick than he has since the summer. In 10 innings since his double 100 against West Indies at Edgbaston in mid-August, he has averaged 14.4. Yesterday's unbeaten century, 104 no, was therefore an eloquent answer to those keen to bring the curtain down on his Test career. Cook batted better than he has in some time against an attack lacking Mitchell Starc and hampered by a stomach illness for Pat Cummins, who battled on despite being in obvious discomfort. He had a moment of good fortune when he was dropped on 66 by Australia captain Steve Smith at slip, a sharp chance off the bowling of Mitch Marsh he almost grabbed at second attempt. But aside from that, Cook looked largely untroubled, reaching his 100 with the 4th ball of the final over, hitting 10 off Steve Smith to get to his 32nd Test 100. Mark Stoneman and James Vince were the only England wickets to fall, the former guilty of a lack of commitment in chipping tamely back to off-spin, and Nathan Lyon for 15. The loss of the opener brought Vince to the wicket at 35-1, and he looked in the mood to continue his good form from the back end of Perth, producing some high-quality drives. However, Vince was to fall in typically infuriating fashion, LBW to Josh Hazlewood just after tea for 17. The England man was given out, but, after consultation with Cook, chose not to review the decision. Had he done so, replays would have shown he got a nick on the ball before it struck his pad. The mistake brought Root and Cook together. At the close, the pair walked off unbeaten, having added 112 for the 3rd wicket, only the 3rd 100 partnership of their series.